Welcome as you all come on in. I finally got my chat up. We were doing our monologuing to get us to the Substack Live showing up. It is the Sick of This show with Nick Parrow, my guest host, as always, and typical on Tuesdays is Lawrence Winterman. And our typical Tuesday morning guest himself, Walter Rhein again.
Yeah,
Um,
which way are we
doing
pointing?
pointing. Everybody's in this direction.
Everybody's on a different side depending on
Everything, everywhere, all of the time. And so, good morning, my friends. Welcome. I'm glad to have you
Oh,
both here today.
Oh,
And so today's episode, everybody, is notes of the week. Because why not? We write notes. And I had one that expectedly, I think, kind of exploded in a good way. And I know Walter is the king of notes. He literally just notates his life through the day and puts it out there, and it's amazing because he has
thank you.
thoughtful things to say when he does it. And Lawrence is a writer and knows how to write notes too. And I see the things he says and throw shit out there, and it's fun. Um, and we're fun all around. And Lawrence is pointed. And I've gotten to love the way, especially during lives, Lawrence, you just fucking wreck people when they say stupid shit before you ban them. And you wait to ban them until after you wreck them. And then you're like, oh, by the way, now you're banned.
well, I mean, I want them to hear that hey, that meteor is incoming. You can see the firing blaze in the sky. Here's coming. Oh, goodbye forever.
That it makes me happy. It makes
Yeah.
me happy. So I wanted to give you guys the floor to start. Walter, I know you talked about a note. I'll link them. You sent it to me in a chat, so it's easy
Oh yeah.
for that one. Is you linked a note that I want you to talk about. Can you introduce your favorite note of the week?
Yeah, it's me first. I was just looking at my thing. The note I put, gosh, and in the ongoing Epstein thing, and then last weekend there was just that awful news about the court jumped in to stop this flight. They were trying to send like hundreds of Guatemalan kids, like to God knows where, who had been deprived of their due process. And as much as we've been talking about this, we're just not at the level of rage we need to be at. We're just not. And the whole country needs to they just need to waken up to what's going on here. And I was kind of on a tirade about that on notes the other day. I'm just like, people, Jesus fucking Christ, these kids, they're getting, and we just don't want to accept how evil things are right now. So the one I wrote the other day was the politicians with ties to child trafficking don't have to fundraise. The politicians with ties to child trafficking have money to burn. The politicians with ties to child trafficking don't care what the voters want. Politicians with ties to child trafficking have the advantage of vast criminal empire. The politicians with ties to child trafficking try to pretend the issue doesn't exist. The politicians with ties to child trafficking are loading children onto planes and denying them their right to due process. Will your children be next? And that was the note. And it's just like,
Yeah.
we got our head in the sand about this. I mean, and it's a lot of things that lead to it, but a lot of kids are getting abused. It needs to stop.
Yeah, and that's a great note. And that piece about like the Guatemalan kids who were sitting on that plane, and like there was an injunction, and they were about to be deported. I like the whole thing just makes me fucking sick to my stomach. But you're right, like Dana just quoted you in the chat. We're not at the level of rage we need to be. You're right, we're not. We are not currently at the level of rage we need to be.
And the media is complicit in this. All it takes is showing these stories. Interview parents who have lost their kids. There's plenty of them. That pain's there. My wife has worked with these kids. My wife worked with some of these kids who, were recovered, and a lot of them are still missing from the first time this happened. So here's a story though, and then she had this little boy, and he was sitting there. He learned to crochet, and this was just like his trauma was just in his hands, and he would just sit there, and it was like you'd give him some yarn, and he would just make a thing, and it's like trauma mittens. He's fucking making this shit, And this is this kid who should be like out playing football, and you're just seeing this level of just that, and it's like we've got people that have to work with these kids. And so my poor wife has to come home and process this trauma too. And it's just like our heart goes out to these, but these are children. And just that level of pain they've had to process and endure, and it's just like how many mittens is he going to have to crochet before he starts feeling like on a level plane again? And like just put it in that recognizable, because we just put it out of our head that like kids are getting raped and kids are getting murdered and disappeared. But just put in that head is just that pain that they're having to process and how they're not equipped to process it. And our school districts aren't really equipped to handle this because we keep stealing funding from them too. And we're,
Right.
dismantling education and all these things. And all that money is going into this Gestapo that's just taking more kids. So it's just like the reality of this is something we just need to. So thanks for the opportunity to talk about this, Nick and and
Yeah.
and Laura. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is like, I keep saying this when I respond to notes like yours is nobody ever talks about the kids. Nobody ever talks about the women. It's always where the men went. But what the fuck happened to the women and kids? Like, where
Yeah.
are they going? Who is taking them? What is happening to them? And I think we know at this point. Like, I think we know what's happening to, especially to these kids. Like, I think we all know in our hearts, really, really, unfortunately, what is going on with these kids, and it's fucking disgusting.
And the media, after every mass shooting, after every lost child, the media could make the choice to interview the parents in
But
that
they don't.
moment of just agony, and instead we get some fucking talking head NRA representative
Right.
in a sleek uniform just brushing it off. That
Right.
human drama is out there for us to find. We have to face it. I know I
Yeah.
don't want to face it, but we have to help those people. We have an obligation based on our basic humanity, which we will lose unless we. And we can't push them. I mean, if they want to be by themselves, that's their choice. But if they want the platform to talk about what they've lost, they have that right. Once you've lost a child, you have the right to a platform to talk about the corruption in our society that led to that loss so that we can prevent it in the future. And we're just not changing anything.
Yeah.
I
Hey, confidential to Nick, General Christopher Jackson is here. In
oh, ooh, fun. General Christopher Jackson. We're gonna acknowledge the fact that you're here and that you're a piece of shit and that there
Of
is no
course.
General Christopher Jackson,
and
and I'm blocking you. Bye, friend.
bye,
Fuck you.
General.
Have a
Goodbye
fucking day.
forever.
Have the fucking day you deserve.
The infiltration continues, right? I don't know what that's about, but I
Yeah.
trust you guys to protect us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lost.
Hey, chat. Even if General Christopher Jackson says hello to you and tries to make nice, don't follow him. He's a bot. We know
Yeah,
for sure.
don't respond to the messages. That individual will DM the shit out of you for no fucking reason.
Twice
Um,
last week, I had to block accounts with swastikas in their profile name.
Yeah. What the
Twice,
fuck,
right in the
Substack?
profile.
yeah, like
Do you
this
remember not
isn't
so long
Twitter.
ago when it was absolutely publicly abhorrent to show the swastika any place? Like, was that
Yeah.
this country just a year ago? What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, yeah, like well, we know what's happening. We absolutely know what's happening, and
I,
it's
Yeah.
fucking gross.
yeah.
Lawrence, take over for a second. You know how I said my dog was still outside, Walter, before the show? Well, he's still outside, and now
Oh,
scratching
oops.
at the door. So I'll be right
We can
back.
handle it. Well, don't
Yeah,
save the
talk
puppy.
about some notes more because this is fucking gross.
Yeah. We'll chat amongst ourselves.
Oh, we're fine. I love talking to you, Lauren.
So, Walter, I wonder, what do you think it's going to take to get people's rage truly awakened? Like, how do we do it?
And we're so indoctrinated just not to talk about these things. But the example, I was kind of coming up with a model in my mind, and it's sort of I've talked about it before, where we've said a lot of the United States, we just act like we're in an abusive relationship. We have a spouse we know is out, and we're just assuming it's like they're out cheating. I know what they're doing, so I'm just not going to pay attention. I'm going to pretend everything's fine. But then the day comes when you finally have to you realize they weren't just cheating. They were raping and murdering children.
Right.
And you, because you just didn't want to look and you didn't want to peel away the levels because you wanted some sort of a normalcy of life, you became an enabler of this.
Right. Yeah. An
Decades and
accomplice
decades.
in a way.
What's that?
an accomplice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like aiding and abetting.
And we're all in that state. We're all in that position. And it's like we know it. Like the Catholic Church has been covering up child rape for as long. It's a and even now I feel like a reluctance to mention it. But for the love of God, it has to stop. It has to stop. And I always say you the second you're blocking women from positions of power, you're enabling. That seems to be those things seem to be tied together. It's like that's the first kind of betrayal, these patriarchal systems, and it's mostly men doing this. I mean, we can get into there's, but it's like when you look at the arrest statistics for women and who are, for sexual assault, it's like, you know, 2%, and it's like, and what percent of those are fake accusations too? So it's like, but it's just like we have to, once we start allowing these certain injustice, we know it's an injustice to say women can't be leaders. That's just not, that's discrimination. We know that's not right. And once we kind of allow that, it gets to the next one. And more over these last 7 months or however long it's been, I've been allowing myself to just say the things that I feel that conditioning I shouldn't say. You kind of encroach. It's like these are all, and we've all, there's stuff, like voting for the lesser of two evils is still voting for evil. We have a right to stand up and say, we need appropriate people in there. And we can't be content like, well, this guy is guilty of, raping 200 people and our guy's better because he's only been accused of sexual misconduct. It's like, for Christ's sake, we need a guy that's actually a decent, or a woman who is a decent human being to get behind. And we were kind of talking about the division that kind of comes up within coalitions on the side of good. We just have to be mindful. It's always easier to destroy things and divide people than it is to bring them together. But it starts by just demanding that we actually have decent people represent us, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Like confidential to the New York Democratic Party. No, no Andrew Cuomo. Credibly accused of
Yeah,
sexual
you're
assault
quite
and
right.
harassment. Like maybe not that guy. Maybe let's go with Mamdani, the guy who actually is popular and that people want to vote for.
And who has ideas
Yeah.
and doesn't suck.
Right,
Like,
right. Who has good ideas, who doesn't suck, who would bring generational change, that guy.
what a crazy concept. Like, elect people who don't suck.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're in a country with millions of people, like millions of us in this country, and we somehow boiled down politics to the dumbest among us for the most part. Like, I am not lumping folks like Jasmine Crockett or AOC or Jamie Raskin into those buckets. Like, I understand some of them may take money that I don't agree with, and we need to get that money out of politics because then they can actually have their own opinion and it not be bought off by somebody else. But like,
Yeah.
it's so much like thrown at us it's that everything everywhere all at once, or they just throw shit at us to
Yep.
make us forget about the fact, or try to make us forget about the fact that we're led by a pedophile, an
Right.
alleged pedophile. I'll say alleged, just so we don't get sued. Alleged pedophile until it's proven, but he's been in a lot of pictures, and there's a lot of gross shit out there. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Stephanie. Welcome, both of you. Welcome, everybody, by the way,
Hi,
who's
Stephanie.
still coming on in. A lot of friends of the show here. Hey, Caro. It's great to see everybody. But yeah, like there are old people who need to step aside. There are young people who need to step aside too. It's not an age thing, it's an ability and it's a care thing. Like, I'm glad to hear that Jerry Nadler is not running for re-election, but I wish he had fucking retired a year ago so that New York could have voted somebody in that wasn't dying and that would actually do something. Like, what a fucking
Yeah.
waste. What a waste of a seat. Like, if you care about democracy and you're not willing to do your job, fucking retire and get out right now so that we can put in people right now to do the things we need, because we're being led by a sex trafficking ring. Like,
Right.
nobody's asking the question of where are the women and girls? And we're still focused on, oh, the men are being sent to torture camps. Okay, that's fucking awful. Like, let's not send men to death camps. But let's also not send women and girls to go, and kids, not just girls, but kids, women and kids, boys and girls, to go get trafficked. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's happening to these people, and we know it. We know it in our hearts now, and I'm not afraid to say it anymore, and I think we need to just keep saying it
Right.
because it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Here's
And the
another
ring.
thing that we should get comfortable saying, which sorry, I forget which one of you said it, but the money out of politics and politicians on the Democratic side taking money from
Mhm.
Yeah.
organizations that they shouldn't. APAC, right?
Yeah,
Like
fuck off, APAC.
American Jew here, fully on board with getting APAC out of fucking American politics because fuck you, Netanyahu. Fuck the genocide that is happening in Gaza right now. Fuck every Israeli person or American Jew who is supporting Israel perpetrating a genocide. Never again means never again. Fuck APAC. Get that money out of politics.
I feel
Yeah.
sorry. I just looked at my camera while we were doing this, and noticed that I looked like a tiny person. Like, do you notice how, like, if the cameras are slightly off with each other, someone looks tiny?
Oh no.
Yeah, totally. Like sitting at the kiddie table.
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out how zoomed in I should be on my own camera right now. But not to distract from the conversation we just had, because fuck APAC. Like, this is
Fuck
a
them.
second American Jew. By the way, like, big old Star of David on my arm. My grandparent, this was my grandmother's Star of David. It has the wall, and I don't remember what the outside is, but the inside is the Wailing Wall. Like our family has ties to Israel. Our family has ties to World War II and the Holocaust. Our family was kicked out of Russia, or well, Belarus more specifically during the Bolshevik Revolution. Like, fuck you, APAC. You guys are the worst. You're the worst. Like, I don't care about APAC. I don't care what you have to say. There's a genocide going on in Palestine and it needs to stop. And I'm going to touch on this, I guess, because I had two notes that one that I wanted to talk about, but then I wrote another one that's hasn't gone as viral especially for me. Like I've had two notes sort of blow up, and this was one of them, but it was one that got a lot of hate towards it, which I was expecting. And I came in this one with my eyes wide open because Qasim Rashid, who is someone that Lawrence and I have interviewed with, um, is under attack right now. Like they're trying to take his law license away. Like that's his livelihood, and they're trying to take his law license away. And
Insanity.
for a comment and a post he made on Substack. And he's not taking it down. And I fully support him. And I wrote a note that said, I strongly support Qasim Rashid Esquire and stand with him. Targeting people on U.S. soil based on skin color is illegal and an unconstitutional violation of your due process rights. Citizen journalists will not be silent. Um, and so I'll link to this one just because the comments, and I only go to mine now. Lawrence, yours is definitely coming up right after. Is I only go to mine now because of that segue. We got to be able to talk about Palestine, and what's going on there. And Qasim is a leading voice on ensuring that civil rights are not being violated. He's basically, I think he's a civil rights lawyer. I don't quote me on that, but what he does helps people who are in need. He's such a good person. And he's being attacked by the right and the left because the left is owned in a lot of ways by APAC. And APAC is a fucking evil organization which needs to go away and is dictating US policy based on Israeli interests alone and not US interests. And the the thing we all forget about Israel is Israel is a client nation to the US. We realistically own Israel. Every decision that Israel makes is something the US can say no to, and they must listen, or we stop funding them. And they need to be reminded of that in a very, very strong way, where it's not about the defense of their nation, but it's about,
Oh,
hold on.
there we go.
Hold on. Wait,
You
is
guys are
somebody?
battling. Good work.
Yeah. Are you responding to Roger Helbig, who I just told to fuck off?
Yeah. Ooh, this is going to be fun.
Roger, I don't
I'm
need to
not going to
accept
kick
comments
you out
telling
yet.
me that there is a genocide going on when I can see with my own fucking eyes that there's a genocide going on. Don't come at me with semantics. about what the word genocide means.
Yeah,
The wholesale elimination of a people from a place is a genocide. I don't need some arbitrary technical term
yeah,
decided by
yeah.
some governing body somewhere. I think we can all agree what's happening in Gaza right now is the wholesale slaughter of civilians.
This
I'm
is
Also,
going to
just
call it a
bot.
genocide. If you don't like that, please go fuck yourself with a chainsaw.
This is bot
also,
social conditioning in real time. I mean, no matter
mhm,
we can't just sit here and have a regular conversation without some lunatic that's probably not even a real person coming in with these
Right.
predetermined arguments and
And
just
his
having to
argument is that intent is
derail
required
us.
for there to be a genocide. Do you think Netanyahu does not
Yeah,
intend there to be a genocide? Clearly he
yeah,
does.
yeah, they're talking about paving Gaza over and putting hotels in. Like, fuck
yeah.
off, Roger Helbig. Like, you
This is the
deserve to go to hell bigly. Like,
This is an
the
example, though, of the
bullshit.
reaction. We all
Yeah,
need to make this reaction always. You can just push back hard on this bullshit because
yeah.
prior to this, our side is always
I'm
like,
gonna
"Well,
block him
listen to them."
while we're talking though, because he's
I'm
done.
sorry.
I blocked him while
Okay,
we're talking
Yeah.
because,
good.
but we can keep talking on this because it is the topic. Like, stop fucking giving us semantics
But yeah,
about
Seriously.
but
genocide.
our side has to remember, push back hard, just like you guys did. Get the hell. We don't have to waste our time. We don't have to derail a productive conversation listening to these dishonest, disingenuous arguments that are out of bound. They are not within the boundary of proper intellectual discourse. They're
Right.
just trying to corrupt us and sabotage us. Don't waste your time with that. Get rid of it. Move on.
Yeah.
Find real people.
Right.
Talk with them. Be more
Why is
positive.
it always the right wing, the crazy right wing, that's like, oh, we don't talk about politics or religion in polite society. Oh,
Yep. It's
now
all
is
by
not the
design.
time to politicize,
Yep.
guns right
That's a
after a
good one.
shooting. They always, always try to make it about propriety
Yes.
and whether we're allowed to say certain things or not. When it's like, no, fuck you. I don't need somebody to tell me it's a genocide.
Yeah.
I
When
can
it's a
see the wholesale
genocide.
slaughter of civilians for myself.
Yeah, you
Perfectly
don't need to
stated, Lawrence.
remind me that it's a genocide or tell me that it's not a genocide when we see it. Like, I'm done with being gaslit into thinking I have to think certain thoughts from both the right and the
Absolutely.
left. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's genocide. I went to Saturday school when I was a kid for a couple years. My family left the synagogue that we were part of and stopped practicing because the last thing that the synagogue asked for us after my grandfather died, who was Jewish, who died, not part of the synagogue, but our family was, and synagogues are supposed to be families and communities. The next message correspondence they gave us after his death was asking for a donation. And we learned it was all about money and not about family. And we never went back to church. We never went back to synagogue. But I still hold on to the practices and the traditions of Judaism because I am culturally Jewish. I look it, I sound it, I act it because it's part of who I am, because I am Jewish. And APAC and Israel do not get to define what Judaism is or what it means to be a Jewish person, especially not an American Jew. I'm an American Jew who does not give a fuck about Netanyahu. I care about the people of Israel. And I'm really mad about this because some right wing troll, and I didn't block this person because they actually have an account that has followers. Um, so
Yeah,
I
that's
was
a good.
interested to see what they had to say. So my note was defending Qasim Rashid. I'm very pro defense of him. He's coming back on our show with Lawrence and I next week on Monday morning. So please, everybody, come see that one at 11 Eastern. Um, but this person responded first with Esquire is an illegal title while we are at it. And I was like, I looked at their page and I was like, wow, your profile is filled with some hateful trash. Yeesh. I thought that was going to be the end of that part of the conversation. They gave me something back that said bipeds like you never say I'm wrong or inaccurate. But what it really was the repost that they did of this and um where it was they reposted my thing and said lawyer Qasim Rashid is obstructing ICE and is intellectually or is actually getting his bar license revoked. His creepy friend Nick objects to anyone pointing anything out about this traitor. lurks on your Substack, and insults content that opposes his programming as trash. Traders need to be held to account. Traders
Wow.
don't like that and try to use hurt feelings as if Trump's treason and truth. Typical liberal. I lost what he was trying to say because it was kind of trash.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Mhm.
but like it caught my attention when they're like, I'm creepy. And I was like, is that really the best you can come up with? Like, one, I don't lurk on people's pages. I'm pretty apparent when I do things. Like I'm not a subtle human being. I've never once been accused of subtlety. And
Nick,
so like
stop.
calling me like a
You're such a
creep.
delicate little flower.
Am I? I know. I write poetry and I'm so poetic and I'm so full of verse, yet I'm gonna bluntly tell you to your face you're a bigoted piece of trash. Um
Right.
and I'm so glad this person gave me a restack and share because I'm not gonna block them. I want to see what happens out of this because I want to see what kind of hate
Yeah.
comes from it. Um
Hey,
because
Nick,
I've been
I might have just in the chat invited Stephanie G. Wilson, PhD, to come talk to us about being an American
Yeah.
who's against
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Pentagon.
She's
He's
actually,
wonderful.
her and I
Wonderful.
are in a discussion right now
Oh,
anyway.
great.
And she's coming on the show at least once. Um,
Excellent.
I think with you, we just have to get the scheduling, and I forget if it's going to be
Perfect.
with you or not. And
Yep.
then I'm working on getting Stephanie also on for a show talking about mental health and chronic conditions.
Great.
Um, which hopefully I didn't realize was the writer of Descent in Bloom also suffers from a chronic condition. And I put one of my the first chapter of my book that I'm starting to write of my poetry, starting to organize it into a book for anyone who will eventually want to buy it when it's done. So I'm starting to serialize it. Um, is I sent it to her subscriber chat and she responded and she was like, "Oh, that's like I have a condition I'd love to like. This sounds amazing." And I asked if she'd be okay coming on a show and if I could DM her because that's how you do it, guys. Like
Yeah.
especially in the world of today, like you don't just reach out to random people and go drop in their DMs all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
And like you use some common sense. Um and
I
I'm
think that's
so
somebody.
excited to have Stephanie on too. Like the network or the community we're creating here is amazing. Like people want to talk about real issues and we're not talking about like we're talking politics and we're talking life, but we're not talking direct politics at the moment. Like, it's okay to talk about these things. Lawrence, you were talking about it in your show just before this with Margaret. She was amazing. I can't wait to invite her on for a show.
She's good.
Um, is like we have to focus on ourselves and a mindfulness that we approach life and how we go forward in life. And it's like she's a coach, and she helps coach like forward momentum and forward life transition. And she seems friggin' amazing at it. And it sort of ties into all of this is I'm really, really, really for people who are against genocide. And I've learned really quickly that it's okay to be for things and be proud of it and say them and ask for help when you need it and express yourself in ways that are positive. And guess what? I'm for Qasim Rashid. Um, his title Esquire is earned. You earn the title
Sure.
Esquire. That is a title you can earn as a person. Like many people earn that title and are given that title. It's not a fake fucking title, you dumb troll.
Right.
But that person has like 600 subscribers, so I'm like,
Yeah.
let's see what
They
they're
could
up
all
to.
be bots too.
They could all be bots, but it's interesting. You got to live a little. Um, and so that was my note. That became my note, not the other one. And I'm glad it was this one instead. Um, Lawrence, I know we sort of threw you in a little bit on
Well,
this last
I've
minute.
got a note that I can share. It's not
Ooh,
mine though, but
oh, that's fine.
I'm sharing it for a reason. Um, okay, so I just dropped the link in there. So this is my friend Gray Galaxy. She is an astrologer and a tarot card reader. And by the way, she's fucking amazing. She predicted the whole Trump health thing well in advance. she really knows what she's talking about. But in this note, she's very political as well, and she's focusing a lot on kind of the astrology of this moment and how it's very closely tied to the fall of the Roman Empire and the American Civil War. But her note is Netflix co-founder just gave Gavin Newsom $2 million for the redistricting fight, and Netflix made a deal with Sesame Street where new episodes will air there and the backlog of old episodes will be free to watch. Netflix picked a side. I will keep my subscription for now.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and it blew up 33,000 likes, 4,000 restacks. And I think it
It's
really resonates with
huge.
people, right? Like it's a great point. We need to support those companies and people who are picking the right side of history, because there are so many companies that aren't picking the right side of history right now, sort of astonishingly, right? Like companies that I would think
Yeah.
would get the impact of this moment are clearly choosing their profits over democracy, and it just makes me crazy. So right. And Stephen Colbert, thank you, John King, for noting that Netflix also offered Stephen Colbert a 7-show deal. He's producing like a mini series or something on Netflix as well. So a
Yeah.
great example of a company that is kind of putting its money where its mouth is and standing up for American democracy and the voices that are being silenced by the Trump administration.
Yeah.
I put on a
And I think,
similar note when I saw Netflix did that. Like, yes, I am on board with these guys who are doing the right thing.
Yeah,
I'm going to
absolutely.
apologize. I had to step out though. I had a call
No.
from my wife. My wife being an immigrant, every time she calls, I'm like, "Fuck, are we in custody?" So I was like, okay, I'll go get. I had my. It was nothing. So we're all safe, but
good.
minor heart attack. But thank you for the break.
It's really, so as a veteran, I really, really hate that every single call that you get from your wife could be a minor heart attack. Like that, that that hurts me so much, because I served this country and we fought to prevent things like that from being instituted in Afghanistan and Iraq and everywhere else that we fought in Vietnam, during Desert Storm, in Kuwait. And look at us. And like, we're doing it at home. And like, if
Yeah,
if you're in if you're not awake to it yet, I really hope people wake up soon, because
I
it's soon going to be too late if you
yeah.
don't wake up. Like at some point you're going to walk in your front, not you specifically, but somebody's going to walk into their front door and go, I'm being taken, and it's too late.
I've been asking white people, I've been saying, "Hey, are you carrying proof of citizenship?" And that's the way to kind of enter this topic. Are you carrying
Mhm.
proof of citizenship? Are you not paying attention to what's happening? And they're like, "Well," and of course they want to dance around. It's like it's like white people can be immigrants too, you know. You know that there's people that come over and overstay. It's like
Mhm.
why don't you prove that you're a citizen? How hard is
Yeah.
it? And then you have to walk them through. It's like, what document? Driver's license doesn't prove it. Your social security card doesn't prove it. You can get those if you're not a citizen. How do I know you're not a citizen? How do I know you're a citizen? You tell this to people and you make them aware of the fear, because this government is running around sending people they claim to be law enforcement. And when we have the copycats that aren't even law enforcement covering their faces and they're abducting women and children. This is happening, and
Mhm.
it doesn't, and even if you show your passport card or whatever, they might say that's not a real thing and take you anyway. So
They
you
already
better
did
walk
it.
through the scenarios of if somebody tries to steal your kids,
Yeah,
because it's likely.
they've already done it to people. Like they've done it to veterans. There's been multiple veterans who have been taken by this administration. Multiple veterans who are brown, just happen to be the wrong skin color, have been taken, who have said while being taken, I'm a veteran. Their wife was screaming, that's a veteran. Or their friends were screaming, he's a veteran, he's a citizen. And them
Yeah.
going, no, you're not, we don't care. Them attacking the reporter who was reporting it, who was white, by the way. The dude who was reporting some of these incidents are white, being attacked by ICE for reporting. What that means is you're reporting the right things. Is keep fucking reporting. If you're a person with a camera on a phone, which every single one of us is, Have that phone available and ready to live stream from whatever platform you're in to do it.
Yeah. And the
Um,
denial is what we have to get over because people are denying it. And that what
Yeah.
I said is a good way to start that conversation in a way that's not hostile. When you say, "Do
mhm,
you have proof of citizenship on you?
yeah,
Are you
Right.
carrying proof?" And just to walk people through that, how hard it is to actually prove you're a citizen, and then you just throw at the end, and then they might not even give a shit if you have the documents anyway.
Yeah.
yep,
So this reminds me of back at the beginning of the first Trump term, right? When the whole Muslim ban was going on and Trump was talking about deporting illegals, at
mhm,
that point, I was working with a personal trainer, right? Who was of Mexican heritage. He had been born in America, spoke flawless English, like just total, immigrant success story, right? Um, he had built this really viable practice for himself as a personal trainer, and he was expressing skepticism. He was like, "Yeah, but no, I'm an American citizen. I was born here. Like, if they come for me, they're not going to deport me." And I was like, "Ricky, if they
Yeah.
take you and you don't have your birth certificate on you, do you really think they're going to give you a chance to go home and get your birth certificate? Like, your last name is, this very Latino sounding last name, and you've got brown skin, and you speak great English, but that's not going to stop them from shipping you out of the country. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about an authoritarian, I mean, at the time, I felt like I was being overly extreme, but here we are living through this
mhm.
exact scenario. They're picking up people who are American citizens and shipping them places because without due process, you don't have the fucking chance to prove that you're an American citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, like I'm seeing in the chat, Stephanie makes a good point, is lots of Mexicans were here before white folks. Like we have to remember that like most of Texas was owned by Mexico. Texas was a Mexican state at one point. Like the fact that there's going to be a lot of folks of Mexican and Hispanic descent in America makes fucking sense, people. Like
Right. New
we're not a
Mexico
white
was named
country.
New Mexico after the Mexica tribe before
Yeah.
Mexico was named Mexico.
Yeah,
Right?
and like white people are the invaders to this country. Like Native Americans, we genocided a group of people to get here. Like the Mormon Church genocided or tried to genocide the Native Americans. Like that was their goal, that was their intent, was to kill every single one of them on their path to salvation. Like they didn't succeed, but there's a shitload of blood on their hands. And
Yeah.
this goes, I'm gonna loop this back to the note that Lawrence you put in, which was the next net from your friend Gray Galaxy, was Netflix co-founder just gave Gavin Newsom 2 million for the redistricting fight and made the deal with Sesame Street. There's two major things in that, like two major pieces of information right there. Like Netflix co-founder is a is pro-democracy. Hand period is pro-constitutional, pro-democracy right now. That is what I care about at the moment. That is the most important issue to me, is that we maintain our democracy, because if we lose our democracy, my children lose their education, I lose my health care, you lose your rights and our freedoms, and I don't give a shit what happens next then, because none of us have any freedom. So Netflix co-founder was like, nah, I don't want that. Let's go redistrict the fuck out of California. And the thing that I appreciate reading this comment is Grey Galaxy said redistrict and not gerrymander,
Right.
because it's
Yeah.
not gerrymandering to protect democracy on
Right.
a trigger law. It is redistricting. Thank you for that comment, because it's amazing. Like that layer of wording is
Yeah.
important. Words mean things and we should use the right ones.
I want to tie a
And
couple ideas
yeah.
together here. That just stuff that we've been talking about. I mean, if you look at history, the biggest fortunes, some of the biggest fortunes ever accrued were from human trafficking. That's just ongoing. That money
Yeah.
has sat there. We've never recovered that money. We've stopped things at times, but we've never demanded that the people who profited from human trafficking and human slavery really had to give up everything that they got from that, all their stolen labor. So we have like this endless fortune of money that can be put in to protect these evil interests. There's no evidence right now that the Epstein ring has even been dismantled. I think we should assume that's ongoing. The International Criminal Court has the warrant out for Putin, and we had he's been stealing kids from the Ukraine. And so because we're not arresting any of those people, that's all of it. But there's also the money. So there's the horrors of the fact that they're abducting and raping kids. But then there's also the money that they're making from this and that's why we talk about campaign finance reform, because there's all these just awful people that have never had one achievement to their name that all of a sudden they're just released onto the scene as like the next big thing because they've got the backing of who knows what. And that goes back to Citizens United that just
Hmm.
allows it put America open to the highest bidder. Anybody from anywhere in the world can create a company and a corporation in the United States and then buy politicians. So we have this funnel from like the all the profits of slavery and human trafficking being directed into our country through these corrupt judicial decisions to elevate these just repugnant politicians who many of them, and when we keep seeing there was a pedophile as the Speaker of the House 20 years ago. We have all those other
Hmm.
we have multiple politicians with ties to human trafficking. There's a lot of money in it. We have no guardrails about the money that determines who our politicians are. And so all of this stuff starts to make this is why we have to just like get your rage. I mean, it's like go back to their rage about seeing a kid get attacked. There's a human part of us where if you see a child getting attacked, the laws don't matter at that point. You can't live with yourself if you don't do anything when that's happening, and it's happening now.
Yeah. And like I just dropped a second note in from mine, which was the other one I was going to talk about or had thought about talking about, which was the U.S. Justice Department and Ghislaine Maxwell outed a child Jane Doe.
Yeah, yeah,
Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche, and Ghislaine Maxwell should be prosecuted
Yeah.
for endangering a victim. And that's what I said. And that blew up for me. It's almost at 3,000 likes, almost at 700, just
good.
about 700 restacks right now. That's big for my account. Like that's a massive, it's also a massive number of people who looked at that note and went, yeah, that makes sense. Because it does. Because Ellie Leonard found a they outed somebody. She's a transcriber and she's amazing. We work with Ellie all the time. If you haven't followed Ellie Leonard, you should. And if you haven't
I
listened to the episode of Ellie Leonard where she was on with Stephanie on Stephanie's show, um, and um, Stephanie interviewed Ellie, and like she's incredible at what she does. This person or this thing is they should be prosecuted and nobody's doing it. The government is literally now outing victims, which is a crime, which is a federal offense up to fines and up to 1 year imprisonment, which I then followed up with that's not enough. That's not enough
Yeah,
punishment,
yeah,
and we should rewrite the laws to encourage a higher punishment.
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Hey, two things. One, I think we need to up-level Ellie's title from transcriber to investigative journalist, right? What she does
Muckraker
goes
Supreme.
absolutely beyond just transcription. She's reading nuance and context. Like she's amazing. And the other thing is, Steven Rosenzweig has asked a couple times in the chat whose side the military is on, and a couple of folks are saying like that's a good question. Nick, I know you were in the military. You're a veteran. My brother-in-law is a veteran. We talk about this all the time. I don't think we know, right? Like
We will
the
not know
military.
until it happens.
Yeah,
That's the thing with the military is we will not know until it happens, and the military is divided. There will be folks in the military who side with Trump. That's why they're purging the military. That's why Pete Hegseth has purged every female, every person of color, anyone who is not one of his sycophants has been purged from the Department of Defense and the chain of command. They have purged the JAG branch, which is the Judge Advocate General branch, the lawyers of the military, so that there's no one who can prosecute or investigate the crimes because the military itself has an internal investigatory system and an internal crime or punishment system. The Uniform Code of Military Justice is not the civilian code of justice. It is strict. There are some very severe penalties for things that are going on, and they're getting rid of any mechanism that is in place to protect people and victims and those who report illegal orders, because it's actually your duty when you swear your oath as an enlisted, especially as an enlisted soldier. I was an enlisted soldier. I got out as an E5 sergeant in the U.S. Army. I was in the intelligence field. I did human intelligence work, so I'm a trained interrogator. No, I am not interrogating y'all when I talk. But they have and so I know what I'm talking about. Like, I've seen internal investigations. I worked with counterintelligence. I worked with the criminal groups to see internal stuff and work on that stuff, because that's what human intelligence does. Is it's the external force, whereas counterintelligence is the internal force, and they work together, and they work with the judges and the advocate branch and the folks who actually do the investigations, and those systems are now destroyed. We will not know on the military until it happens. And the thing is, there's a great quote out there is, if you are relying on the military to save your democracy, you do not have a democracy, because the military cannot be your last line of defense. The military is an external security force to defend the nation's borders.
Right.
When it becomes an internal policing force, it's already over. Like, we already see that certain members of the military will stay with Trump unloyal, like, without question. The question we are waiting to see is who doesn't listen to those illegal orders and who follows the Constitution, because that takes bravery and that takes a lot of courage. And the generals, at least in the DOD, who had and held that courage have been fired.
Yeah. Stephanie,
it's not already over. I disagree with Judge Ludig.
I do too. Yeah, maybe it was your note, Nick. I don't remember who said it this morning, but it was Ogre. It was the opinionated Ogre who was like, yeah, I'm going to disagree with Judge Ludig because, Nazi Germany no longer exists. It took a war and it took reconstruction, but, it may be that Trump has a hold on power right now and we can't rely on elections in 2026 to fix it, but then it will take a civil war, right? Stephanie also asked about, what happens when the blue states soft secede. I mean, I think we're there. I think we're in a soft civil war right now, or a cold civil war, whatever you want to call it. The moment when the blue states start withholding money, I think that's when it starts to get hot.
Let's keep in mind, though, that we're still seeing Democrats winning elections. So that's positive.
Iowa.
I mean, that keeps happening. And one thing that's kind of blown my mind is that they're still honoring the filibuster. I did not think that was going to last this long. I thought that was out the second he got in, and they still are honoring that. So there's, in some way, and we are working. It's really important because we're not alarmists. It's important for us to be on the front lines and say, these are the dangers. We need to take appropriate measures to avoid these dangers. We're doing that. And if we manage to emerge from this, it'll be because of the actions that we made. It reminds me of prior to the Millennium bug. Everybody was like, we're working really hard to fix so that this isn't an issue. And then it happened. It's like, oh, well, that was nothing. What were you guys all worried about? It's like, it was nothing because we took it so damn seriously leading up to that. So that's the state we're in now. There's cause for concern, but we can also kind of look, and we do have to take time for our mental health and focus on the positive things that seem to be working to our advantage. We are doing good, but there's a lot of things we can do yet. So
and especially as a veteran and all the other veteran creators that I follow and all of the other veteran creators who truly, truly care about what's going on in our country and are trying to save, and not just save, but fix our democracy, because we can't save something that's broken. It's broken. It's broke as fuck. It's broke as fuck, and it needs to be restored. It needs to be changed. We need to amend what is there because it's no longer working.
Yep. And they can't hide that it's not working anymore. And that's the thing that's to our benefit. Because we're not
Yeah.
silent. In the past, I wouldn't have said as much as I'm saying now.
Nope.
But not only am I saying it, people are listening to it. Because there have been times in the past when I would have left notes and I would have lost my whole following for some of the notes I'm putting out now. Now everybody's like, you know what? That's fucking true. We need to change that. And it all comes down to our rallying cry is stop raping children. And
Yeah.
if we can't win with that rallying cry,
Then
the human race doesn't
Yeah.
deserve to survive.
yeah,
And I'm
this
going to
country doesn't
respond
deserve to be saved.
real quick to Stephen N on the secession thing is stop spamming that, please, bud. Like, one, a soft secession, let's make sure we clarify what a soft secession really is, because it is not a real secession in terms of legality and constitutional
Right.
law. A real secession is what the South did during the Civil War,
Yeah.
where they broke the Union and divided it into two countries. They literally broke. No, I get it, Stephen. And then that's fine. I just don't want you to spam it. We're seeing you, but we're seeing you. I appreciate the comments. You've left some really good stuff. So I'm not upset with you, man.
Time good, Nick.
It's just like, but we need to talk about the soft secession itself, because a soft secession is an economic secession. It is what the blue states are going to do, because majority of blue states are considered giver states. They give to the economy. They feed the systems that we rely on. Red states are taker states. Every red state takes, including Texas. Texas is a taker state. Every red state takes. No red state produces more than it gets back from the federal government, including Texas. Fucking fight me on it, Texas. Y'all suck. Like, y'all take a lot too. You take a ton of oil subsidies and you don't think that's a fucking taking thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Cut back
And
when
the
you
thing
can
is,
actually provide power to all your citizens, Texas.
yeah, like fuck off, Texas. And so what a soft secession is the blue states stop sending money to the federal government. And guess what? That stops funding ICE. That stops funding the military. The US government cannot function without blue states. California is what? The fourth largest GDP in the world?
The world.
Like, fuck off, red states. Like Texas, you're not even top 10. You're not even top 20, I don't think. Like, fuck off. We should be more like California in a lot of ways, in a lot of places, because they're doing something right. Like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of like pussyfooting around. I
Yeah.
say pussyfooting because that's actually about a cat, not
Yeah.
not female genitalia. We
You
need
can't
to
comply.
stop. We cannot comply ahead of time by saying that progressive ideas are bad. We need to just talk about them. Like, you're right,
Yeah.
Walter. Like, I'm tired of just being like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. Maybe I'm going to get attacked or fired or I'll lose followers. I don't
Yeah.
care. And fuck it.
Yep.
If you
Yep.
don't want to, if you want to unsubscribe to me because I said something progressive and straightforward and I believe my opinion and I'm going
Yeah.
to stand by my opinion because it's about human sovereignty and dignity
Yeah.
and sanity and a future where my kids actually have value, then I don't want you as my subscriber. Like,
If people are angry
whatever.
because we said stop abducting and torturing and raping children. Stop it. You have to stop
Yeah.
that. We have no tolerance for that. Stop it. And people are like,
Yeah.
whoa. And they start in with their bullshit. Not
Right.
all. And
There's no
no,
equivocation.
that the line has to be drawn. That has to
Somewhere.
end. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to draw a line and we have to be able to say no.
And we have to recognize it's happening. We have to stop these denials. And that's the real thing. Because polite company, it's covered by that veil of denial. We have to rip that veil away. People have to see what's happening. We're all in it. And we don't want to be complicit with this.
Yeah. And so we're at the top of the hour. As much as I want to keep this conversation going all day.
Right. We could
because
quickly
I-
talk
breath
about
anyway.
anything.
Yeah,
All riled up.
we're
gonna
going
go
to
to
be
the
back
gym
Get
again.
a
now.
microphone and an active chat, and the three of us could talk about anything forever.
Oh, it's good.
Exactly.
Thanks for all the hearts. Somebody's been hitting that heart button. I appreciate that. That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
love it. I'm seeing the hearts fly in. You guys are, everybody in the chat is fantastic. Thank you for the engagement. This is one of
Yeah.
the things we love. I love the most about this is engaging with y'all throughout the chat and throughout the conversation. Sue, I have to stop because I have a show in 30
Okay.
minutes. It's a vet talk over on Banner and Backbone with myself and Ken Harbaugh. Unfortunately, Melissa Corrigan had to drop from being able to host. She has some stuff, personal stuff she has to take care of, um,
That's the
which
Melissa.
I'm, which, yeah, best to Melissa while she takes care of her personal stuff. And we're going to ensure that she's back on the air with us soon, and that everything's good and okay. But we're going to have a show with Ken Harbaugh in about half an hour. He is Ken Harbaugh, to say his name clearly for the recording. He's the one of the founders of the Valor Media Network. He is a contributor on Midas Touch. He is a veteran. He's a Navy pilot. Um, and he's an incredible voice, and he's a veteran advocate that I've been hoping to talk to for a while now, and I'm excited to have him on the show.
Nice.
Otherwise, we would keep going forever.
Yeah.
So before we go, though, is I want to hear last thoughts from both y'all on what
Yeah.
you think is just a good way for us to keep going forward.
Yeah. Go challenge somebody to show you, a white person to show you proof of citizenship today. Get that conversation started. Like the realities of what's going on, and just don't permit the veil of denial to prevent you from saying the things that you know need to be said in order to protect your own children. And your children are in danger right now, and don't think you're protected by anything, by by race, by gender, by political affiliation. You are unsafe until this regime gets overthrown, and until the dismantle, legally and lawfully removed, and the Epstein ring is dismantled. Because for all we know, that's up and running. I think it is. I think it's supporting a lot of the people out there who are making our lives miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still fired up from that asshole trying to convince us that the evidence of our own eyes is not good enough that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. Like, fuck that person. Fuck
Yeah.
the people who are trying to take Qasim's law license away from him. Like, yeah, I'm just fired up and ready to go yell at people right now.
Yeah. And be safe. In the
Yeah.
comments, somebody said I'd be in. Don't do anything that you think is dangerous. Always keep your act. We need you. We need everybody for the long haul. Be
Yeah.
safe. I have privilege. There's things I can do other people can't. I will do
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah. And I think that's a great point, is be safe, but also understand that using your privilege, if you have it, does mean you may put yourself in legal jeopardy. Just like you have to accept the fact that putting yourself out there does come with
Yeah.
risk. And that's part of the point. Like, you have
Yeah.
the privilege to put yourself out there, and I have the privilege to put myself out here. Walter is putting himself out here. Lawrence is putting himself out here. All of our co-hosts, all of our friends, everyone who's doing lives and writing are putting themselves out there. And one of the biggest things I keep saying that we can all do, that is a simple thing, is put yourself out there creatively,
Yeah.
and put yourself out there
Okay.
unabashedly who you are,
Well,
so that we overwhelm the negativity with positivity. Like, we're fighting for something, and that gives us something to hope for. And that's what we've needed. And we need to fight for something. And that something is sovereignty and dignity for each and every one of us.
and there's zero protection in compliance. Zero. None. The only
Mhm.
protect. We're vulnerable, but that's just the natural state of things. So we might as well fight for a better world for our kids.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Do it for, if anything, do it for your own mental health, so that you don't have to be so depressed all the time and anxious all the
Yeah.
time. Like, if we're out of fascism, you're not going to be so depressed.
Right.
um, so closing it out like we always do is Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Lawrence, for co-hosting with
Lawrence.
me. Walter, thank you for being here again. As
Thank you.
always, loved it. Audience, thanks for everyone. And let's stop being sick of this shit and let's start doing this shit. Have a great day, y'all. See everyone in about 25 minutes.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.